I have a few videos coming out over the next few days that I think are going to be awesome. They're going to connect us back to some of the earliest history of the country. Recently, there's been a bunch of crazy sales of early notes from the colonial era that have sold for really good money. So we'll start off this series of videos with ones out of my home state of North Carolina that sold for really good money through heritage. These are from the mid 1700s all the way through the Revolutionary War era. Despite their fragile condition, these are really cool, and these pieces commanded strong interest from collectors. So let's break them down so you know why they're so special. First off, welcome to the channel if you're new, and welcome back if you're not. Here on the channel, we break down verified collectible sales for all things collectible. Us crazy collectible folks, anything from the Beanie Babies all the way to valuable gold. So today we're focusing on 3 important sales of North Carolina colonial paper currency. These are really neat. Each one highlights different eras of America's economic foundation. I know that sounds a bit boring. Mainly, though, I think they really touch on 3 different parts of history. We'll look at their details, why collectors pursued them, and of course, how much they sold for. The first one is actually a group lot of a quartet of North Carolina colonial notes. These were issued between 1754 and 1771. Despite their heavy wear, the huge tears in them, the stains, the tape repairs, and even sewing that keeps them together, these notes from this group still realized $180 in September of 2025. Now, this condition might scare away some of you guys, but for many, these notes represent a really affordable access to genuine colonial history. Having 4 examples spanning nearly 20 years is also really cool because it's an incredible snapshot of how paper money evolved in the colonies over those years. Collector tip is just don't be afraid of repaired or heavily circulated colonial notes. They're so old, they have such history to them, provenance to them, that their value often lies more in history than the condition. The second one is another lot that featured a pair of 10 shilling notes from December 1771. These are both graded very fine, so much better condition than the others, even with centerfold repairs where the notes were rejoined. Their originality is confirmed by embossing that remains really visible. These sold for $192. This lot shows that even the mid-grade colonial notes can draw collector attention when they retain historical detail, and the printing is still pretty strong. A tip on these is embossing is a great sign of originality. Always check for raised impressions on these types of old notes. The final lot combined 2 incredible survivors: a 3-pound note from April 1748 and a 10 shilling note from December 1771. The 1748 note, nearly 280 years old at this point, shows missing pieces, splits, and repairs, while the 1771 note was back to preserve it, so it's much better condition. Despite the wear, the pair brought $240 at auction, so quite a bit. The earlier 3-pound note, in particular, demonstrates how rare mid-18th century colonial issues are, making this group especially desirable. The older the note, the more forgiving collectors generally are on condition, so both of these notes being over 200 years old, of course, is taken into consideration. Age and survival can outweigh wear in most times. The market takeaway on these cool banknotes is that these 3 sales prove that colonial currency remains a strong collecting category. No matter what the state, these sell for really good money, which you'll see in my upcoming videos. While modern banknotes often demand a really high grade for the high prices, these older notes are valued for survival, rarity, and of course my favorite part of the hobby, the history behind them. Even in lower grades, they always sell for hundreds of dollars. If you're considering colonial notes, then don't focus on condition. Look for embossing, and bundled lots like pairs, quartets, or more are a great entry point. So here's to you, which of these North Carolina colonial notes do you find most fascinating? The mid-1700s, the 1771 pair, or that stitched together quartet? I really like the sewn together notes. Let me know in the comments, and let me know what you've been coming across in your coin, banknote, and collectible searches lately there as well. I love reading about that stuff, so I'll see you in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy treasure hunting.